development and growth of the party. So far, my campaign has been on the high, and I appreciate the love and support that the youth of the party, have shown me so far. I'm deeply encouraged.
But there's chaos within the party and various districts because of the low-level elections.
We have 275.
Absolutely,
we have taken notice of it. We have 275 constituencies in the country, and out of it, just about 3 or 4 which are isolated situations. And yesterday, the national chairman of the party held a presser and indicated that the party was going to take a very serious look at it. National officers have been dispatched to those various locations to see exactly what went wrong and how we can instill some discipline. So it's something we are going to take up very, very forcefully.
Councillor, are you surprised this is happening though?
Well, not at all. Not at all. When a party that claims to be democratic, yet in the primariness of their everyday dealings, you don't see the tenets of democracy playing out.
Does it not happen in the NDC as well?
No. I mean, why should the purchase of a nomination form, which is such a major source of revenue for a party, be done this way? In the NDC, we rather use that as a source of revenue. So the party rather allows everyone to purchase a form. In any case, not everyone who can file.
Yeah. So aspirants also buy forms.
Yes. So I'm struggling to appreciate why this should degenerate to this level.
Well, let's hope that they bring it under control. I don't want us to stay too long on this.
I just wanted to remind my very good honorable friend that in Asawasi,
yes,
there were gunshots. Somebody was killed. Right in the presence of a general secretary just because of forms that you're preventing a young man from contesting. You know it. So don't pretend that it is.
These are police station matters.
But it is in the same light that police of nominations is a problem. So don't pretend that it has not happened. You people kill each other.
That's the basic level.
You kill each other there.
Basic level.
That day I said ran for his dear life. You know that.
Anyway, let's hope that these issues can be resolved by the way. Let's move away from this conversation and dwell on what happened yesterday. Yesterday there was another town hall meeting organized by government. The finance minister was there along with the Interior Minister, Honorable Ambrose Derry, and the Upper West Regional Minister. And in fact, a lot was talked about. But even before we go into that, I just want us to take a look at some things that other government officials have said concerning e-levy. Initially, when e-levy was announced, we were told that it was going to fight cybersecurity. We needed money for jobs, and of course, YouStart was the main, focus, and also for roads and infrastructure. Now, along the line, we had some government officials who talked about how, road contractors have to even support the e-levy so that we can eventually pay road contractors. That was from the roads minister. And also, we heard from Honorable Otrebefi, and he is the MP for New Durban South. He also said that we have to pass the e-levy, otherwise free SHS will be cancelled. Let's take a look at those videos quickly. We'll come back and take a look at what the finance minister had to say yesterday concerning e-levy and the district common fund, and we'll start our conversation.
Other people so you say if you're contractor for you yetua fakase no aka yetua bika ba adwuma no so koso utua ka na bi wugum ese nye sika na yetua wo bia aka utase na Ghana nkwa na ye padipa so yembisi yetua ka abrofu diska bre na eye ne yesire sika no nkofa ne ana eye mana onyango kura se mana no entobio when they want to want mana no sikano feels to go from taxes enti obia ope omayiye sabi one for politics no di na green fita bekasem no obe kase yemie hu ne ntua taxes na yemfam build ye kro Obi or Yajuma Bruche, at least minimum 40% of your income go into taxes. Okwa Bruche, and Yena, you took wine, Yena, US, Britain, China ni a friend say Japan ni na yakọ nyina bi so many times ye tu kwan onga won kasa no nyina so atu kwan saa to bi won mu a udura utua $5 $5 is over 30 cedis in Ghana. Aha obi drive ko do toll booth no ko tua 50 pesos 50 pesos na onam wa wasi yetua to aso ye hu kwan
Mesumuni na yen so say ade wa kuzo awa yan kan say yan twa yi levi no me ekọ World Bank ana say ekọ IMF say ekọ ko jebosia inya ko e na o mekatre na adanko akufo ado say free senior high school mon kamwa munyina mo manam ama wie school o mo ko school o mo nya school sanse we na mo ti yak school akọ me se mo bushafo me member of parliament me ni NDC for the parliament there be I am mo head mo parliament mo NDC for say NDC for no any MPP for no omo parliament no ye nyina ye gitum NDC for no agiatum say yi levi ni ye there be omo ka tell say ye nyire ho ni push ya ni pass yi levi no ni e pass ya be boy na mom omo de omo ntibi ma me ka tell o man say omo nyintu pass omo be ka tell o man no mo ba mo ho so mo ko to omo nya anunti NDC for no crash ya.
All right, and so that's Honorable Michael Otrebefi. He is the MP for New Drummond South, and he was speaking to some market women there and says that, well, if we go to IMF, we'll be forced to cancel free SHS. And so if you don't want this policy to be cancelled, then please support e-levy. We also heard from the roads minister, and he was translating, and if I can translate, he said that if you travel out, a lot of people use about 40 to 50% of their salaries to pay taxes, and that is how the economy is able to grow. That's how they're able to provide these amenities for them. And so if we're here and we're saying we don't want the e-levy, how will they provide all these other things for us? And in fact, this was corroborated by Honorable Afenyo Makin during the first town hall meeting, where he said that if you owe, let's say, about 5 billion Ghana cedis to road contractors and you're only generating about 30 million Ghana cedis, where do you expect the money to come from for you to be able to pay road contractors? But let's quickly move on to the finance minister and what he said yesterday concerning how the e-levy will be used to pay the District Assembly Common Fund. Take a look.
They have something called uniform fees, which will look at taxing all electronic transfers in their own manifesto. So what are they doing? A, they don't want us to get jobs, or B, they want us to go to the IMF. To what effect? So that really is my story. Are we here as a proud nation, courageous and strong to take this burden? What did the IMF give you? The last time they did, it was $1 billion in a program, that is, of 300 million a year for 3 years. E-levy, as small as you might think it, will be 1 billion or 7 billion cedis, starting this year, if we had started early, so we could pay your District Assembly Common Fund. But they are sitting on it. So really, that is a picture I want you to get. And to determine for yourself that, look, my friend MP, you go and vote for our e-levy. The other issues we can deal with because I'm in your party.
All right, so that is Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, the finance minister, and he says that we're hoping to generate some 7 billion Ghana cedis in the first year if e-levy is collected. In fact, now it's delayed because the minority refused to help pass the e-levy, and so we might not even be able to generate that amount, but that would have been used to pay the District Assembly Common Fund. So a number of reasons have come up as to why government officials are asking us to support e-levy so that they can handle or manage certain aspects of the economy. I'll start off with council on this issue of the District Assembly Common Fund, because we know that there's been a delay in paying the Common Fund. As at last year, the second and third quarter have not yet been paid. And the minister says that we need e-levy so we can pay the District Assembly Common Fund. Council.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to my constituents in Peki, Pali, Peve, Tongo. And let me use 1 minute to eulogize my senior in the law, Prof. Sabochi, for I think what he's doing at Uppsala. I think the transformation he's brought to Uppsala is remarkable, and I want to commend him for that. Now, leaving the generals to the specifics, I was horrified to hear the finance minister say that he needs e-levy to pay our District Assembly's Common Fund. I was horrified.
Why were you horrified?
Because, you see, the payment to the District Assembly's Common Fund has been in arrears for nearly 12 months. And we are aware that e-levy hasn't been introduced yet. That's a fact. Whether they are still interested or not, it's a matter we'll deal with. You have collected other taxes and generated other revenues. And the Constitution is very clear that when you do that, pay at least a minimum or at least 5% of that to the administrator of the Common Fund for her to distribute to the assemblies and the municipal assemblies. The funds are meant for the development of the districts, but they are administered by the assemblies. So for you to say that you haven't paid the DCA because you don't have e-levy, it's plain falsity. GRA just announced that they exceeded their revenue target by 4%. And that is total tax collected. Other revenue sources have come in. So why is the finance minister not paying these statutory funds to the district assemblies? I have here the report from the local government committee for 2022 when we consider their estimates and budget. So these are not things anybody is saying is concocting or fabricating. These are the facts. And I'm happy that he himself has admitted. So you can't say that you need e-levy in 2022 to pay monies that you owe, statutory funds that you have actually collected, but are sitting on what should go to DACF, for instance.
But he says that the economy is in shambles. If we don't collect the e-levy, the economy might collapse. And he said
how is this economy in shambles when the same man?
No money.
No, how is this economy in shambles when the same man in their speaking notes paint very, very glorious picture of the economy? How is that? How did our expenditure move from a 44 billion expenditure levels to 136 billion in 5 years? We have improved on revenue collection from about 36 billion in 2016 to 56 and 57 billion now. But our expenditure levels have quadrupled.
Because of COVID?
No. Because we are doing all sorts of things that is not generating revenue. How does a government, for instance, say that they want to recruit 500 more presidential staffers in 2022? How is that even reasonable? And they all come to add to the expenditure levels. So by reducing our expenditure levels alone, we could be running a surplus budget. But we are not doing that. And one other thing that we need to watch is the fact that he said, I don't know if you have that on tape, he said that we pay as much as 31 billion cedis as interest payments. In fact, in 2021, that was how much you used to pay as interest payments on debts that we have accrued. And Bella, that is about $5 billion equivalent. Are you aware that monies that we have, facilities that we have taken as far back as 2018 to undertake certain capital projects like roads, and in inaugurating or commissioning these projects, we have given timelines. We haven't started at all. So the moratorium on such facilities, some have even run out, which means that you start interest payments on those facilities when you have actually not drawn down on the facilities. And I'll give you about 3. We took a facility to do and expand the to Miocho Road on that Flower Road to make it a 3-lane dual carriage road. We gave ourselves 24 months when we commissioned that project. It was supposed to have started in July last year. It hasn't started. We took a 256 million euros to undertake the Ashaman to Adome Bridge dual carriage multi-lane road. The president did the commissioning in October 2020 towards the election and promised that in 18 months that project will be completed. We are in February 2022. Not even a wheelbarrow is on that road. And that facility is also in there. I can speak of the Efia Nkwanta Hospital project. That ought to have been started and completed, I think, in 24 months. Yeah. And so many others. The point I'm making is, we take a facility with fanfare. We go and commission the project. We go and cut salt to start the project with fanfare and give ourselves timelines. We never follow through with the timelines. And interest payments will begin to build up on these facilities. We have just taken 2 other huge facilities to do what they call the Mamfe through Mampong to Koforidua dual carriage road. They call it the Scenic Road. Again, we have given ourselves timelines. We've taken nearly $400 million to build bridge over the lake, the Volta Lake, where the Afram River used to be, between Echi and Nkatapa, from Kwau to Afram Plains. Again, we have given ourselves timelines. We took a facility from the Japanese government to build the Volivo Bridge. It's nearly 10 years. We haven't done that. So I get worried when we build up the debt, we don't apply the facilities to what the projects that we acquire them for, so that they can generate revenue. And yet, as a nation, we are paying so much interest on it. So that is one other source of the problem that we need to look at.
But don't you think that in passing the e-levy, then at least we can generate some money so we don't have to go for a facility to develop our roads? Because they are saying we need it. They say you're sitting on the e-levy, the passage of the e-levy, and there's a delay.
No, let's go into the history of this e-levy business. You brought e-levy to Parliament on the 15th of December, all right? And got it referred to the appropriate committee. The expectations were that you were going to pass it before we rose for Christmas. Now, for some laxity, you don't follow through with your program. And we went on Christmas break. When we come back, you heard them say that as soon as we resume on the 25th of January, we are going to pass e-levy. It's been a month since we resumed. Find out whether e-levy has featured on the business of Parliament. This is the bill. This is the report from the Finance Committee. The report has not even been laid in Parliament. Ask them.
So, if you can avoid putting on the table, Mike.
Yes, so ask them. So when they make the claim that it is the minority or it is the speaker that is frustrating them, that is a total lie.
Okay.
As a government, we expect you that when the Finance Committee came with the report, you would have allowed the report to be laid and debated and a report taken and resolution passed. So we could go into the consideration of the bill. By some design, you have taken out, so the report is in abeyance. It's been distributed to members, but it's not been laid.
And we don't know when it's going to be laid?
Yes.
As it stands now, we don't have a date.
We don't have a date. This look, I also brought a couple of our business statements to show you. This is, for instance, up to 25th of February. E-levy is not featuring. This is the current one that we have. This is what we are operating with today. E-levy is not featuring.
Okay. Let me bring Salam in to respond to some of these.
And yet they will say that Speaker is frustrating their work in Parliament.
Well, that's what
Speaker
they have said.
Yes,
but
Speaker has been around all this while.
Speaker was away for a while because he had to travel again to Dubai.
Look, Parliament is not incapacitated in the absence of the Speaker.
But then we know the back and forth when it comes to voting.
But I've just told you that their own report, they haven't laid it. Their own report.
Deputy Speaker.
Their own report, they haven't laid it.
Okay, let me bring Salam in.
To give birth to e-levy in Parliament, they haven't brought it.
Salam, so if you're blaming the NDC for the delay, and now the minister is saying that we need e-levy so we can pay District Assembly Common Fund, when we know the law says clearly that 5% of what we generate internally should be given to the districts to develop the districts. How then is the minister saying this at this time?
So Bella, I think it's appropriate to say good morning to you, my good friend, Honorable Daffy Amakor. Also, since he made a special greetings to his people in his constituency, let me also...
So you also have to equalize.
Yeah, I'm putting special greetings to the youth of the NPP.
Okay.
You know, I watched the clip of the finance minister and I listened to him well, and that of Honorable Michael Ochebefie. Clearly, I could find some twisting because he did not say that without e-levy, we cannot pay the District Assembly Common Fund.
Let me read what he says. I wrote it. He says e-levy will be 7 billion this year. If we had started early, so we can pay your District Assembly Common Funds. So, but they are sitting on it.
It's not, doesn't mean that without it, it cannot. And I'm coming.
You say we are sitting on it.
I'm coming. Honorable sought to create the impression that this is the first time that there is a default in payment to District Assembly Common Fund.
What was it?
But that is not
when was the first time?
I have Googled and I can tell you in 2016 there was default. In 2015 there was default.
Okay.
It was not the NPP that was in office in 2015. I can give you quite a myriad of
so you continue with
hold on, Council, please allow him to speak. Please allow him to speak.
It doesn't
I'll let you
mean
come in.
that it should continue, but don't make it look as if it is deliberate on somebody's part.
That wasn't the picture I painted. The man said he needed e-levy, and my position.
When you were talking around you.
No, you are getting me wrong. My position was that you had already collected. No, you had already collected some taxes, some revenues.
Okay.
So don't say that you need e-levy.
Just
to pay what
when I'm
owe.
speaking.
That's the point I was
saying.
Council,
when I'm done, then you're coming.
All right.
Because when you create that impression that, oh, these people have not been able to do this, under us we did it, then I bring up evidence to show that it is not the case.
But he didn't say under them they did it.
No, but he sought to create the impression that this is the first time we are defaulting in payment. I am not saying that it's something that should continue. We all understand what goes into the default. When you go to the District Assembly, the administrator, she will give you, Honorable Nato, and previously those who have held the position, they would give you quite a history of why these delays do happen. But as it were, and let me just also clear that of Honorable Ochebefie. Clearly, you see the twisting of that one too, because he did not say, as news want to purport, that if you do not accept e-levy, there will be cancellation of the free SHS. He never said so.
What did he say?
He said that if we don't do this, we'll go to the IMF, and the IMF will come with conditionalities, which is true.
But that's what I said earlier.
Yes, but
and I saw you nodded when I said it.
No, the first news item was that if we do not pass e-levy, we would cancel free SHS. And I have seen subsequently this go round in the news, which is absolutely not true.
But on this platform, we stated that if we go to IMF, we'll be forced to cancel
absolutely. You said that. Yes, I heard you say that. So we should not create impressions that are erroneous in wanting to push a certain narrative. Now, this whole thing about...
But does it still not say that if you don't pass e-levy, free SHS will be cancelled? Whichever way, because we'll have to be forced to go to IMF. And it will be cancelled. Is it not the same thing?
The whole thing about the e-levy, and you have seen government has tried to do more consultation. And as you are aware, yesterday, the finance minister and his team were in the Upper West consulting with the ordinary people, trying to build consensus around it. We as a country need to find different sources of revenue to develop our own country. We cannot sit here and expect that we will develop based on grants and stipends from other countries. What COVID has come to teach all of us is that you must look internal first and generate your own resources. So if here we have found a way to generate some resources, over 7 billion in a year, why don't we exploit that option? Then, unless I am being told that because maybe some countries in the West have not done it, so we cannot lead the pack in showing the world that we can do this. Now, Bella, this thing strikes me. You know that when you send Momo on MTN, you pay 1%. Right. Am I being told that 1%, which the MTN takes and doesn't remit to the state, rather gives a fraction to the vendor, and after the year ends, repatriates all this money back to the parent company in South Africa, it is good.
Was the government not also taking some other 1% from the telcos?
No, we're not, apart from the CST, you know, that we charge. We don't charge them the transactions on the electronic platform. And Bella, as you are aware, government has also invested in infrastructure for these electronic transactions. The NDC wanted to do interoperability for $1 billion, right? $1 billion US. The NDC wanted to use to do interoperability in this country. We came and used just $4.5 million to do so. It's because government recognized the importance of these platforms to ensure that we open our economy. So if we are doing this, I understand that we may not be ready to pay a little more, but if we are, we will be building our own country. So we should all come together, and government has listened and dropped down from the 1.75% to 1.05.
1.5, you mean, not 1.05. It's 1.5.
Oh, it's one.
Not 1.05.
Yes, 1.5. Yes, it's still the same thing.
No, it's not. 1.05 is 1.5. Yeah.
You know, and this would go a long way to ensure that we are par, right? That we do not overtax the people, but the state is also still able to get some revenue to develop. Now, what strikes me to the core is when NDC people come out all guns blazing against e-levy when they promised the very same thing in their 2020 manifesto.
They have said it's not the same thing that they promised.
Unless they wrote this in Greek or Hebrew.
Okay.
That we don't understand what they wrote on their page 99. They should come and tell us.
I have it here. Do you want me to?
I have it too.
Okay, so go ahead and read it and tell us how that is similar.
I have it too. That they will introduce a uniform transaction fee policy to guide electronic payments industry, right? Unless this is Greek or Hebrew that we don't understand, what is it? It's the same thing. And you know, the hypocrisy, what we do to ourselves in the name of politics in this country, is one that's dragging all of us down. If you thought that it was a good initiative to implement, right? And you didn't win the election. Somebody won. Implementing the same thing. Then now you turn and say, no, why are you implementing the very thing that we thought of doing same? What are we doing?
I'll let Council respond to this so he can explain to us, because I've heard some factions of the NDC say that it's not the same as the e-levy that the MPP is proposing to charge.
Let them dress the monkey anyhow they want. It's still a monkey, right? Let them dress the monkey anyhow they want. Well, it is still a monkey.
They have said, and their general secretary said when they back on that demonstration, that when they come into power, the first 100 days, they will cancel the e-levy.
And I can bet you they will not. We know the NDC way too well, right? I can give you a plethora of instances where they have the Communication Service Act. Didn't they say same? Didn't they? Did they cancel it?
Did they say they will cancel it?
Yes. And let me tell you one thing. They said they were going to convert the Flagstaff House into a poultry farm. Didn't they say that? They did.
But you know that's not possible.
But they said it exactly what I'm telling you. So you have confirmed my opinion.
Was it in jest or they actually meant it?
No,
because there's no way you can say. There's no way you can say.
You don't throw everything out that comes, right? This is the same party that promised one time health insurance, premium in this country. Did it happen? It never happened. They don't have the track record.
You also made a lot of promises that you haven't fulfilled. One student, one cup of cocoa drink. That's never happened.
We are
so
talking of major policies.
That's not a major policy.
These ones, yeah, we can always implement. And I've seen subsequently chocolates have been distributed. If you talk to Fifi Boafu at the cocoa board, he will tell you that they have distributed some. Maybe it's not consistent, but some chocolate has gone. And I'm sure that if you engage them, they will tell you that
the vice president said it was not necessary to charge on transactions for Ghanaians, and yet we've seen e-levy being introduced.
I understand the point. I understand the point, right? If at the point this was the position, and government, together thinks that let's go in this direction, like I've said, I think, look, if the NDC decided that it was a good policy and put it in their manifesto, then upon further realization, we see that we can rake in a lot of revenue from this source. Why not?
Okay.
Why do we leave this sit down untapped? Then you tell us that, no, run to IMF. The last time you ran to the IMF, they gave you just about $1 billion. And they didn't give you in block. They gave it to you in tranches, $300 million each. What did it do?
So if
we should be ambitious in this country.
You came to take the last tranche. What did you do with it?
I'm telling you.
You came to take the last tranche.
I'm telling you that.
It doesn't matter?
It matters.
It doesn't matter.
Why do you say it doesn't matter? I mean, should you not tell us? What did you use that money for, by the way? Is it not fair that you tell Ghanaians?
My point is that.
What did you use the $300 million for?
My point is that if you can raise $7 billion, why do you chase just about $1 billion?
You came to take the final tranche of the
That's
IMF
what I'm saying.
fund.
What IMF
did you use
gave
it
us
for?
was 300.
Yes. What was it used for?
When we came into office, the NDC had taken 2 tranches, right?
Okay.
Of the 300 million. The very things that were in the IMF, document was what the same things we used to run.
So, like what exactly?
I cannot.
You don't have the details now. Okay, let me bring Council in, because Council, the NPP has raised concerns about you also promising to charge on electronic transactions, and yet you are the same people who are sitting on the e-levy, something that you would benefit from eventually.
That's a big lie.
How is it a big lie?
That's a big lie. If you recall, we had introduced a fee on e-transactions, fees charged by banks on their e-transactions. Now, it's a component of the e-process. So, for the NDC to say that, because it was like a pilot, even though they described it as a nuisance tax, the revenue was good. So we looked at it and said that it would be good to look at how the digital economy, taxing the digital economy is different from what they are doing.
How is it different?
It is different.
Thank you. How is it different?
You see, that is your problem, because your assumption under this e-levy is so horribly wrong. Let me tell you, Bella, money in your electronic wallet doesn't constitute part of the digital economy. That is your savings, or that is your revenue sitting there. That is your capital, for instance, if you are doing a tabletop business. You'll be taxing the digital economy when, for instance, you are running an online business where people are patronizing online.
Okay.
Then the government can, and they have data on that. I can give
but
you
the
all those data.
in the wallet.
Oh, why? Is the wallet for you? And yesterday I heard somebody say that if you have $1 million and 1 million Ghana, you transfer and we charge 15,000.
Yeah.
What is wrong with that?
The Interior Minister said it. The Finance Minister said
that
it
is
too.
theft.
He said, why should there be an uprising if you're making 100,000 Ghana cedis and 1,500 on that of that is being charged?
I am not making
to develop the nation.
Making 100,000. I am transferring 100,000 as my personal money. Bella is like waking up from my home and bringing you 100,000 to do something for me. Government says that moving the money from where I am, from one locus to another, they should charge 15,000 on that. Is that not thievery? It's like waylaying me on the way.
Can that be thievery?
Yes, that is thievery.
It is not.
That is electronic thievery.
But they say that outside Ghana, there are people who are paying about 50% of taxes
they should provide
on
that
their
data.
salary.
Bella,
and so why are we making a lot of noise about we are barely paying taxes?
Bella, aren't we paying taxes? If I show you my payslip, you weep.
We all do.
The level
taxes.
of taxes I pay. So let them not be saying that elsewhere people pay as much as 50% of their salary as taxes and we don't pay nothing.
But out of the about 18 million economically active people, hold on, Salam.
Can I finish?
Out of the about 18 million economically active people, well, the finance minister says 2.2 million
Just
people are
2 million people pay
GRA
tax.
gave us a figure and said about 6 million people, by the way, are only paying. That is woefully inadequate. So they need to find a way to widen the tax.
Can I address that?
Yes, please go ahead.
Widening that doesn't mean you should take money in my back pocket. Because you see, when you do that, let's interrogate the data. If you take the electronic space, we have a general population of about 31.4 million people. 18.12 of that is urbanized, and 13.28 of that is in the rural areas. Out of that, the people using active mobile phones registered actively is 41.69 million as of January 2021. By January 2022, it are increased to about by 8%. So the number of SIM cards that we have has gone up. But what has happened? If you check the number of active mobile phone users, all right, that comes, and those who use social media, that is about 8.2 million. And out of that, that's about 26.1 of the population. Now, out of that number, that's about 45.25 of the urban population that uses social media. So, social media users increased by about 37% between 2020 and 2021. But what has happened is that with the announcement of the e-levy, there's been a decline of about 600,000 people. Bella, if you target me as a mobile phone user to expand your tax network, I am already part of the 2 million people who are paying tax to you. So you haven't done anything. You have rather increased my tax burden because the assumption is wrong. The assumption that by targeting mobile phone users, you'll be expanding the tax base is erroneous. You are still going after the it's actually 2.6 million people. Now, what they have also failed to do is that all the mobile phone users, it's not everybody who is using it for Momo. People are just using it for I love you, I love you. So I expected government to focus on those who are using the Momo as a service or as a business and earning profit. They don't want to do that. And they are lumping all of us together and say that we should pay anytime we transfer money, we should pay a levy.
As long as it's not from our accounts to our own accounts on a different network.
At least that one they've given a breakdown of that. That is a latter day amendment of their earlier position. So to tax that I am giving you money, simpliciter, is neither a tax on sales, a tax on revenue, and we've asked them to describe what is the nature of this tax. They are unable to tell you. In any case, you are not the one who is providing the payment system. That is why the platform that I am using, the provider is levying me 1%.
Now we're told it will reduce to 0.75%.
That is a mere declaration of intention. Since when does a mere declaration of intention of corporate entities become a government policy? Vodafone doesn't charge. So when they say that they have agreed, well, is Vodafone going to reduce 25% of a 0% rate? So again, it's a very misleading statement that they are making in there.
The finance minister said it's either the e-levy or else we're going to have to pay some more levies on petroleum.
You see, they have been given the executive power of state to exercise. So far, they have failed. It is his business. It is his business to come and defend government business in parliament, so we support him. So far, he's not been able to do that. And let me also add that under Article 106 of the Constitution, what they are doing is neither here nor there. They ought to have done this before introducing the bill, so that the information they will gather will go to and read the content of the bill. You brought the bill to Parliament and the certificate agency. It's been approved and adopted under a certificate of agency. At the consideration, you are frustrating the business of Parliament and pretend that you are now going around the country gathering views. It is Parliament's Committee of Finance that should be doing what they are doing. What they are engaging ought to have been done by the Finance Committee of Parliament. So they are placing the cart before the horse.
Because the Finance Committee had said that at the time when e-levy was announced, they were not aware of it.
Exactly. So if indeed you were interested in gathering stakeholder opinions on the matter, it's Finance Committee that ought to be. In fact, under our rules, they are supposed to do that.
Okay.
But you said no, and that you were in a hurry. So the bill should be taken under certificate of agency for you.
Okay.
When you are meeting roadblocks because of the problems with it, you want to pretend that there's no problem, that it is rather the minority and the Speaker of Parliament who are frustrating your business.
Okay.
And they have been horribly exposed.
Salam, why have we not heard from your boss on the e-levy? I mean, we've all been going back and forth on this issue, but we haven't heard the Vice President say anything, absolutely anything, about e-levy. Does it mean that his position still stands based on what he has said in the past?
So before I come to this your question, okay, first of all, before my salary gets to me, controller has already deducted
income tax
out of it. Is that thievery?
No, but that is income tax.
Exactly. So when something is being done, you can't call it thievery.
No, but if I've already paid my income tax, what is left?
The NDC,
you should not tax
part of the money in my pocket. That is thievery without my consent.
Okay, Council, please allow him.
Council, the NDC introduced the 17.5 financial service tax. Right. Was that thievery?
No, that was backed by law.
But that's why this is also a bill before Parliament. It's going to be law.
Where is the bill? Come and pass it. We've been asking you.
But the fact that you are delaying the Parliament. You hold on.
We are not Parliament.
But the bill is before Parliament.
They are also in Parliament.
So I'm different.
Please allow him to speak. When you are speaking, he allows you to speak. You will still not approve it.
No, we will not allow them to approve that. But that will amount to thievery.
It is not. Like I said, it is an act of nation wrecking that we see mostly being perpetuated by the NDC. That when nation
Council, please, I'm sorry, but please allow him to speak. Whenever you are speaking, he's very quiet. And please, let's just give him the time to speak as well.
For anything that is beneficial, once it is not coming from them, no, don't do it. But we all know that the proceeds, if it's going to go into roads, that some will go into your constituency. I'm sure when you're driving to the Volta region and you pass some of the villages and you see the Mpakadan railway going, I'm sure you like it. You see, we are doing so much, but we fail to see that we are making progress. Look, recently, I went to...
Sorry, Council, please. Council, please. Please.
It is not NDC.
Please.
Council,
please do not. Otherwise, I have to turn off your microphone. Who has to turn off Council's microphone?
I recently went to Cameroon, and that's where I appreciated where Ghana has come. If you don't, I've been to Sierra Leone, I've been to other African countries. If you don't, you will not appreciate how far Ghana has gone. Yeah, we want more. I'm sure.
But we cannot compare GDP to this, can we?
We want to compare ourselves to the UK, to the Americans, and so on and so forth. But these countries pay for their development, and that's exactly what we are advocating for. It may be, yes, let's squeeze, but when we do and we settle, everything will come back to normal.
Okay.
These Western countries didn't also get it easy. I'm sure you have read the history of May 1st before, and you know what went into it. So let's not overly burden ourselves. Let's build consensus.
Okay.
Let's get this passed, and let's raise revenue and develop our own country.
All right.
Look,
why has the Vice President not spoken on e-levy?
I don't think it's a matter of somebody has to speak.
He's not just somebody. He is the Vice President.
Yes.
He's the head of the economic management team.
And the finance minister is charged with the responsibility, and that's why the finance minister, every town hall, he's been there. He has advocated the position of government, and so be it.
The Vice President is the head of the economic management team.
I'm saying, but he is not the spokesperson for government. So this sits at his doorstep. He's not the spokesperson for government.
But he's the Vice President.
Yes, he's a Vice President. Yes, but he's not a spokesperson for government.
He's the head of the economic management team.
The information minister is there. The finance minister.
He held a position
who laid it
in the past that it was wrong to charge
he's going ahead to ensure that
on their transactions, on Momo transactions. Does he still stand by that?
That's where it ends.
Does he still stand by the statement that he's made in the past?
When you
that
get
it
the
is wrong to charge. But you work in his office. You work directly with the Vice President.
You can put that before him.
So I'm assuming that you should know why he hasn't.
As far as I know, the position of government is what has been communicated by the finance minister, by the information minister, and the business of governance.
Should he not have been a part of the town hall meeting so that he can also speak on this?
He doesn't need to come and speak on every single thing. Why? There are so many issues that have happened that he didn't speak on. Nobody asked where he is.
He's been very vocal about digitization.
Yes. And
I mean, he spearheaded the whole digitization agenda.
And he is very much, into the digitization agenda. If you look at the quantum leap Ghana has taken in that industry, it's one that leaves nothing but marvel.
But should he not then be concerned
that
even though we've made a leap, the same people who are using Momo transactions are now being asked to pay per transaction?
And he doesn't take the whole thing personal to say that, this has happened because of me. That is why there's a government, and he's part of it. And when the government has a position, we all go out and say so. You understand? I am speaking on behalf of the party and government. That's the position, right? And anybody else who comes here will say the very same things I'm saying.
But you're the director of programs at the office of the Vice President, which is why I keep asking you that.
I can understand you, but I am also telling you that the position of government is that of what the finance minister is projecting, the information minister is projecting, and all other government appointees are doing
quick one. Message from Sam George, by the way. He says, please correct Salam on his claim on the service charges by the telcos. The government charges 12.5% VAT, 2.5% National Health Insurance Levy, 2.5% Get Fund, and 1% COVID-19 levy on the 1% service charge. He should stop lying and peddling untruths. So he says that government is charging on that 1% that the telcos are charging from us. Now, on the issue of paragraph 8.7c on page 99 of our manifesto, the NPP's economic mismanagement has been accepted by all, but to see their lack of English comprehension is shocking. A uniform transaction fee policy is to allow for a standard fee across all payment platforms by EMIs. Today, the same transaction for 1,000 Ghana cedis across MTN, Vodafone, SlidePay or ExpressPay would attract different transaction fees. It is this asymmetry that the NDC sought to correct. I say this on authority as a member of the ICT subcommittee of the manifesto team. That is from Honorable Sam George.
That I cannot accept this claim.
You cannot accept it.
Honorable Sam George.
Okay.
I cannot accept it. It cannot.
No problem.
I cannot
accept it.
Bella, number one, the Tema in Pakadan Railway Project is not MPP's project.
But who is doing it?
Please.
Who is paying for it?
Salam, please. When he was interjecting, I called him to order, so please allow him.
It's not pocket money. This is a project that was ongoing and you came to inherit it. You haven't introduced a single railway project as we speak.
This cannot be true.
Listen, this was based on a $394 million Indian Exim Bank facility JM contracted and got Parliament approved in 2016 before he left office. So when you are continuing with the project, in any case, you couldn't have abandoned it.
But you come and inherit Eurojet projects
please,
around the place.
Salam, please. Let me correct that. And number two, I don't think anybody in NDC said anywhere that they will convert Flagstaff into a hen coop. I don't know who even said that. You must have heard somebody in the roadside say so. That is not an NDC's policy. So that cannot hang around our neck. 3, Salam says that it appears that in the whole of Africa, his government that may be leading in this e-levy transaction tax. Is that what he's saying?
No, that's not what he said.
He said so.
I never said so.
He said they will be leading the charge in Africa.
I said, why can't we lead the pack?
Lead which pack? 10 other countries in Africa have introduced it, and there are assessments about the performance of the tax system. So which pack are you leading? You are not even copying properly. The countries that you want to copy, you are not even copying them properly. So the e-levy is simply dead on arrival. And you can't get it through. Withdraw it. Let me advise you to withdraw it and go and look at it and focus on some aspects of the economy. Reduce your expenditure levels.
Okay.
When we speak, you talk of roads that you owe road contractors. Who says that minus e-levy you can't pay road contractors? Because that is why we have a road fund.
But that's what the Deputy Majority Leader was saying, that we're probably only generating just about 30 million out of it, as against a projected 5 billion. And so how do we pay them?
Hold on, that's a big lie. I want them to submit the report on the road fund, the performance of the road fund.
He gave an example saying that if you're expecting 5 billion from the road fund, and you are making just about 30 million, how do you expect to pay the road contractors? That is why we need the e-levy.
He's making assumptions. He's not speaking to the figures as the chairman. As the chairman is supposed to have the annual report of the road fund. He should be speaking to the actual figures.
Do you have the actual figures? By
yes, because the annual reports that they submit, we are waiting for the 2021 report. And I'll show you, in 2020, they made so much. That is why government actually collateralized monies that were coming into the road fund and took so much money and pretended that they were going to, in fact, expand the motorway into a 6-lane dual carriage. It hasn't happened.
But work is ongoing.
Where?
Is it not?
On Tema. On the motorway. Which part? When was the last time?
Has it not started? I mean, they started inside Tema, just at the end of the motorway. And they mentioned that work is going to continue.
That is not part of the motorway expansion and rehabilitation project.
Okay.
You recall that the road minister actually said as part of that project, they were even going to build interchanges around Achimota and Tesano. It hasn't happened. They said they will build Pualugu. It hasn't happened.
So we need the e-levy so it happens.
They've taken monies. Well, the point I'm making is that facilities have been taken.
Salam, hold on.
Facilities have been taken.
Yeah.
We'll begin to pay interest. Those monies are not being applied to the projects for which they have been taken. It's one of my worries.
Interchange?
Okay.
Tamale interchange.
Have you seen it?
What is that? You call that interchange?
Tamale.
That overhead, you call it interchange.
Okay. Gentlemen, we have to go. But Salam, so yesterday we heard from Honorable Kennedy Ejapong on Honorable Adjoa Safo. And he says that her seat should be declared vacant so they can elect a new MP. What do you say?
Bella, the issue of Honorable Adwoa Safua is quite a bizarre one. And
how so?
What's going on is not really nice. It started on a very quiet note, then all of a sudden it's now out there in the public domain. I sincerely think that the political advisors to the Honorable Member of Parliament should do her a lot of good. Sit her down and advise her to rescind her position. Look, her colleagues are not happy with her. The party is not happy with her. You can't hold a whole party government to ransom.
She's on an extended leave.
Absolutely.
The president granted her extended leave.
No reason. You see, all of us in the political construct may desire one or two things and may not get, but our collective responsibility to the cause remains unparalleled, and that's what we expect of the Honorable Member of Parliament. If for nothing at all, the party has done her a lot of good, that she should cast her mind back to see how much the party has brought her. Today, when she goes everywhere in the world, she's known. Everybody can pinpoint you are Honorable, Adwoa Safua.
But Dr. Richard Amwakuba says that you treated her unfairly. I mean, when she issued that letter to the head of the school feeding program to vacate her position, and then later she had to rescind that decision and all of that. And so
what is he talking about?
That showed that she was not in charge, and it looked as if there were, bigger people who were interfering in her work. And also the fact that you took away that position as deputy majority leader. All those things you did to her were not fair. And so you should rather apologize.
What is he talking about? Bella, look, I have been through thick and thin in this party. Right in opposition all the way till the very last day we won the 2016 elections. People lost their lives. I can mention my own friend and brother, Kobna Boedu. He died, right? On campaign duties. Our former regional chairman in the Upper East, Chairman Adams, he died. When 2015, we're doing Let My Vote Count demonstration right here in Adabraka, and police came to beat us. Justice Ajakuma was shot in the eye. He lost it and subsequently died.
So your point now is what?
People have sacrificed so much. So don't come and tell me that, somebody needs to be begged for something.
So should we declare her seat vacant?
Well, I know that the party is going to take it up.
Okay.
And from there, when the elders of the party take it up, we will see what to do. But otherwise, it's not a very wholesome situation, and I pray and hope that she resents the decision and come back and continue. I personally was in Domi Kwabenya
land on this for me
with
so we can go because my time is up.
Group young we call them Alpha Patriots. We campaigned in the constituency, so to see that such effort went into it, and these young guys who left everything and went out to campaign. I mean, I don't think it's fair enough.
Pardon me, Coco. Let me just let council also touch on this briefly so we can go.
Clearly, there's nothing they can do about Adwoa. And everybody is blowing hot air. Has Adwoa spoken?
She hasn't, but she's been dancing on TikTok.
No, but that is immaterial. She has a social life. Adwoa, as member of parliament, hasn't spoken a word.
By the way, this morning we're told that she's deleted her TikTok account.
She's not spoken to this matter. So until an official position is communicated, and who says that Adwoa doesn't come to parliament?
Does she come? Have you seen her?
I am saying, who says she doesn't come to parliament?
And I'm asking you, you are in parliament.
Do you see her? I am saying, who says Adwoa doesn't come to parliament? I thought the MPP said that you can come to parliament without being in the chamber. Why is Adwoa's absence in the chamber now a bother to them? Look, if you check our order 15 and 16, If anybody is aggrieved that a member has absented himself or herself for 15 sitting days, it's only it's only a matter for the privileges committee. Okay. It doesn't warrant dismissal from parliament.
Okay.
In fact, there's no basis. Then the constitution says in Article 97 thereabout that there are modalities for declaring a seat of member of parliament vacant. The 15-day sitting absence is only a matter for privileges.
Okay.
It's not a basis at all. And when you are in breach of privilege, it can either be a reprimand or something of the sort. You cannot be dismissed because you don't come to parliament.
So the only way is to wait till her tenure is over?
Yes. You see, what the constitution contemplates is that a member will resign from his or her party.
Okay.
But it didn't contemplate that a party will sack a sitting member of parliament.
Okay. All right.
You understand?
Understood.
So this is a fanciful constitutional journey to nothingness. They won't get anywhere.
But well, our time is up. We'll have to go. But our time is up. By the way, so Salam Mustafa is running for National Youth Organizer for the MP. And so we wish you the very best, Salam, in your campaign, and we'll see how that goes. He's also, I should campaign for you. He's the Director of Programs Office of the President. And I'll just give you 30 seconds to speak to your people. Salam, 30 seconds, please. Just speak to your people briefly before we go, since you are running for office.
Yes, I appreciate it. So
30 seconds.
Give me 30 seconds.
30 seconds, don't worry.
For the youth of the MPP, I say that we need to build a strong, formidable youth wing. One that allows young people to go through the mill. Also, one that ensures that we are able to win the next elections and break the eight. And we need somebody who is a mobilizer, somebody who is an organizer. Okay. And throughout my activities, I've shown that I'm more than capable of doing the job. And I know that they will trust me to do it.
Okay. All the best. Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafiameko, MP for South Dai.
30 seconds. I want to urge my party members, especially my executives in Peki, Kwalik, Prevetongo, to go around and register the members of the party. We are doing party renewal cards.
Okay.
So we just distributed the membership cards to them for them to renew the membership for people. And also ensure that our members go to register for the NIA cards. Those who register having received the cards, they should try and go to the center.
Okay.
I'm sure that the officials will come around to give them. It's very important that they get the NIA cards.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me this morning. And happy birthday to Mrs. Sandra Kome. I love her to the bone, and I pray for God's everlasting grace, joy, peace, and happiness. This is from Henry Kome from IT. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in. This has been The Big Issue. But the new day continues, and today we have a major discussion on rent. So we have a rep from Rent Control, and we'll be speaking to some tenants as well so they can express their views on how difficult it's been to pay rent in this country. This is TV3 New Day. We'll be right back with more.